Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gomansing, topping our newscast as Governor Mapp's St. Thomas residence continues to be scrutinized under a microscope. Lieutenant Governor Potter also continues to fight his own battles regarding his St. Thomas residence. On Monday, Potter stated in the press conference that he wants to move forward, so he'll be paying for the controversial rental in Mahogany Run himself. News 2's April Knight has that story.
Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter said he's decided to pay for the controversial Mahogany Run condominium initially billed to taxpayers out of his own pocket.
It's not my intention to make a resident, a two-bedroom resident for the Lieutenant Governor to occupy, to make that be a continuous, non-stop bone of contention and distraction.
This comes at the heels of intense scrutiny for Governor Mapp's own $107,000 villa rental for 5 months. The Mapp administration has stated that security concerns led to the procurement of the condo for the Lieutenant Governor.
Not that I, Osbert Potter, feel personally threatened, because I do not. I feel comfortable wherever I am in all 3 islands.
Potter also said that he has not set foot in the condo that before his Monday announcement was supposed to cost the territory more than $33,000 a year. Even so, the government still had to make payments even without Potter living in it.
Because you took it off the market, and in taking it off the market, that's a value to the owner for loss of potential rental.
Lieutenant Governor Potter points to past practice of providing living quarters for lieutenant governors in spite of the fact that the position, as it's currently known, is still not provided for in VI law. The lieutenant governor says he'll be shouldering the costs of the condominium until the Senate and the government house find a more permanent solution.
I am not going to allow for this situation to continue under in the fashion that it has continued over the years, over the months or weeks. We have a lot of work to do.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Lieutenant Governor Potter also announced that he will be off island for almost a week starting Wednesday for the Pan Am Games in Canada. Acting Finance Commissioner Valdemar Collins will again act as governor since Governor Mapp is also off island. Well, during that press conference, Acting Governor Potter also announced the selection of the latest cabinet nominee, Rick Mulgrave, as new director of the Embattled Bureau of Corrections. Mulgrave will be replacing Julius Wilson, who has garnered a vote of no confidence from lawmakers in the 30th legislature. Mulgrave's credential, according to a government house document, include 20 years of experience in facilities management and law enforcement, most recently in the Sheriff's Department in Gwinnett County, Georgia. He also hails from the Virgin Islands and will have details in a later newscast. St. Croix police, on their initiative to remove guns from the street, arrested another individual on unauthorized weapon possession on Saturday, July 18th at 12:36 a.m. Officers arrested and charged Anthony Hazelwood, 23, of Clifton Hill with unauthorized weapon possession after Hazelwood admitted to police that he was the owner of a gun and ammunition discovered under the seat that he was occupying. Bail for Hazelwood was set at $25,000. Also on Saturday, July 18th at 11:30 p.m., William Liebert, 25, of Estate Castleburg, was arrested and charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm. According to the report, Liebert had been in his vehicle that was parked in the public parking lot of the Candido Guadalupe housing community when approached by officers. A bag of marijuana had been found on the front passenger seat, according to police, in plain view of the officers, and after a further inspection of the vehicle, a handgun was also discovered. Bail for William Liebert was set at $25,000. On Thursday, July 16, 2015, at 9:01 p.m., 911 received a call from an officer indicating that a citizen had flagged him down and informed him that there was an unresponsive individual laying on Centerline Road. The officer made a check of the area and discovered the body of an elderly male. An ambulance was called in. EMTs examined the individual and found no signs of life. An investigator with the Traffic Investigation Bureau was called to the scene to conduct an investigation, and the name of the victim is being withheld until notification of next of kin has been established. Investigators are continuing their the investigation into that matter. The U.S. Marshals, meanwhile, they say the search continues for a murder suspect, Jawad Chowdhury, 19, who had been added to its 15 most wanted fugitives list. A reward of up to $25,000 is being offered. Now, on November 2nd, 2014, the Richmond Police Department in Virginia responded to a call for assistance at the Clarion Hotel. Officers discovered the body of Ebonice Escobar, who suffered a fatal gunshot wound to the head. Richmond PD charged Chowdhury with the murder. Marshals confirmed Chowdhury fled to the USVI after the crime, but say he did have ties to the cities of Norfolk, Virginia, Miami, the U.S., and the BVI. Enforcement officers say he is a member of a criminal organization in the VI. Chief District Court Judge Wilma Lewis on July 16 sentenced Paul Gerard, 27, to 37 months in prison for possession of prison contraband. Gerard pleaded guilty to 4 counts of possession of prison contraband on January 9, 2015. The charges stemmed from cell searches conducted on November 16, 2012, January 16, 2013, and June 18, 2013, as well as a search conducted by federal law enforcement officers on April 7, 2014, while Gerard was an inmate. The officers discovered and seized cell phones, a knife, and a homemade weapon or shank during the searches. A local nonprofit focused on women's empowerment is calling out for the community's help. They set up an activity meant to help many in the community and help send a delegation to represent the Virgin Islands in a world conference. But that didn't turn out so well, and it's now costing the organization. NEWS2's April Knight has details.
It started out as a fundraiser for YWCA, but the women's nonprofit ended up going into debt. The VI Young Women's Christian Association set up a flea market in early July. They wanted to raise enough money to send a delegation to a global conference in Thailand.
The cost for airfare and lodging and the other costs associated with travel to a foreign country is upwards of $7,000.
But a gust of wind turned all of their plans upside down.
And we just got this huge gust. It was very strange. The tent blew over almost like a napkin. We started to see some of our volunteers and some of the vendors emerge. Toppled the tent, it lifted tables, and it threw some of the volunteers to the ground.
Not only did they not raise enough money, now they have to pay back for some of the damage.
Close to probably $2,000, maybe $3,000. The cost of, I want to say about 6 tents, including the largest tent.
YWCA and the VI has reached out to the community through various programs, focusing on areas like health and wellness, domestic violence, and women's empowerment, among so many others. This time, they're reaching out to the community for help to weather this particular storm.
Cash donations, and when it comes to the tents, it would be wonderful if we could have tents donated.
Reporting for News2, I'm April Knight.
Now, to help out the YWCA with a donation, you could call the following numbers: 201-8572-776-1592, or you can email usviywca@gmail.com. Turn our attention overseas. The man who shot and killed 5 service members in Chattanooga, Tennessee, was battling depression, had suicidal thoughts, and was on a 3-day downward spiral before that attack. That's according to family members. 4 days after the shooting, the FBI has not found any connection to overseas terrorist groups. But Mohammed Abdulaziz's diary says that as far back as 2013, he wrote about having suicidal thoughts and becoming a martyr. Federal investigators tried to piece together why he opened fire Thursday at 2 military facilities in Chattanooga, killing 4 Marines and a sailor. An unnamed family representatives told the Associated Press on Sunday that Abdulaziz, 24 years of age, traveled to Jordan last year to try to escape bad influences that appeared to be dominating his life. We'll turn our attention to the eye of the economy. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. Taking a look at the numbers there. Everything up. The Dow up 13, NASDAQ 8, S&P 500 up 1. Coming up on News 2, how this woman's father-in-law was lured into a lottery scam that cost him $50,000. Don't miss our Consumer Alert report coming up. Plus, a very hot competition was held this past weekend. We're talking ghost peppers, chili peppers, and more that took center stage Saturday during the 3rd annual 40 Strand on Fire hot sauce competition. The Virgin Islands Fire Service is notifying all individuals and entities holding an expired fire safety certificate of its intention to offer an amnesty period to facilitate coming into compliance. Virgin Islands law provides that all fire safety inspection shall be renewed on an annual basis. Virgin Islands law provides the director of the fire service the authority to use discretion in waiving or reducing penalties. The inspection fee itself, however, is mandatory and cannot be waived or reduced. Therefore, effective immediately, delinquent inspection certificates are given until Monday, August 31st, 2015 to come into compliance with respect to renewing any safety certificates that are not current. You can call them for more information. The Downtown Revitalization, Inc. has a new executive board after an election during its recent annual meeting. Gautam Daswani is the new president, with Dr. Orville Ken as vice president. Former Public Works Commissioner Darryl Smalls takes the treasurer post, assisted by Dorothy Ann McGuire. Eloy George is the new secretary, assisted by Judith Watlington Edwin. Lee Steiner, meanwhile, is the new director. Now, DRI's goals, as we have shared, is to create a shared, coherent vision for the redevelopment and revitalization of Charlotte-Amalie. Ghost peppers, chili peppers, and more took center stage Saturday during the 3rd annual 40 Strand on Fire hot sauce competition. Vendors filled Strand Street with food and fun, while Hotel St. Croix's courtyard was ground zero for nearly 20 different hot sauces. Experts and novices got to taste all by spoonful or even with chicken and Johnny cake. Each hot sauce was different, and when the votes were tabulated, J&V Diner took top honors as the #1 hot sauce.
The flavor, of course. Flavor, the heat in the sauce, and the aroma of the sauce, and the texture of the sauce. Just awesome.
I'm very thankful for the support that we got today. And we put a lot of work into this hot sauce competition. So I just want to say next year, you guys come by again and support Coup de Croix, your hot sauce competition. And I'm so happy and so thankful for all the support we got. First place. My gosh, yes, J&V, one love.
Well, congratulations. Also, congratulations in order for Virgin Islands author Tiffany Unique. She's soaring high with top reviews from the New York Times. Her debut novel, The Land of Love and Drowning, is set in the early 1900s, at a time when the Virgin Islands was being passed from Danish to American rule. Well, in addition to being on the New York Times New and Noteworthy list, the novel also won the 2014 Flaherty Duncan Prize and the Rosenthal Award for considerable literary talent. Congratulations to Tiffany for continually making the Virgin Islands proud. While they manipulate their victims, harass them, and don't give up until they've stolen every dollar possible. Consumer Alerts has a story of a scam that is draining the life savings of tens of thousands of elderly victims across the nation. Here's more.
It became a real obsession.
She is talking about her father-in-law, a retired minister who found himself on the losing end of a lottery sweepstakes scam. She is remaining anonymous out of respect for her father-in-law's privacy, but she wants other families to know how these con artists stole money from a man she considers intelligent and thoughtful.
They played on his religious beliefs. They quoted him scripture, just really got into his heart and his head by doing so.
Her father-in-law believed he had won a $2 million sweepstakes and a new car. He was told all he needed to do was send in the taxes and fees for the jackpot. So he did, over and over again.
It had gotten so bad that he even was calling the local taxis to come and pick up the checks to take them to a given address where the people had told him.
In fact, the scammers were calling 10 to 20 times a day.
We feel that a lot of it was out of loneliness because he does not have family members near him.
When his family caught on, they changed his number. But that didn't stop the scam artists.
They have mailed cell phones with loaded minutes, even after we have had phones disconnected.
Over 3 years, he lost $50,000, never receiving a penny of the winnings that didn't exist.
You feel helpless, number one. It has destroyed a lot of family unity.
But there is never a payoff. Some important advice for every consumer.
A legitimate lottery will take out taxes and fees and anything else that's required prior to turning the money over to you. There's no reason for you to pay taxes and fees on winnings that you don't even have yet.
That was Consumer Alert. Now, in this case, postal inspectors have tracked this scam back to Jamaica, where many lottery sweepstakes scams originate, they say. Well, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.